What's going on, Raider Nation, and welcome to another episode of the Raider Critique. Now, this is the Jon Gruden Email Chronicles version 2, and I have my special guest, a man who, well, we all know from YouTube, and we also know from the stands. Everybody, please welcome Captain Jack.
Yarr, Raider Nation. Just had to put that out there. Can't be a Captain Jack show with at least a yarg. At least when I'm on other channels. I don't do it as much on mine because it's, in fact, I need to start doing it a little bit more often.
Absolutely, Captain. There is a presence about you that always needs to be felt. How are you doing after your nice long Vegas trip trying to get back home?
Yeah, the operative word being long Vegas trip. And, it's one of those things where I hate to delve on it, but it's an issue with politics and the airlines and government, but I'm just going to leave it at that. I don't wish to delve into issues such as that, but it just kind of pisses me off when things directly affect you that shouldn't directly affect you, and I'm just going to leave it at that.
Especially when you're trying to get back home to go to work. I've been there and done that. It sucks. And sitting here having to
Damn
wait on
right.
airlines, it's unreal. And
Hmm.
but anyway, you know what this phone call is about. I'm trying to talk about Jon Gruden and this email debacle that the NFL has plagued us with. How do you feel about the situation at hand, even though the team is winning now with how this
Well, actually,
situation has been dealt?
yeah, actually, when all is said and done, uh, I didn't like the circumstances of how it was brought about, but as far as the outcome, I am digging the outcome because, as I've stated on my show, I think that a gloom and negative funk has been lifted from the locker room that has inundated the Raiders for a while, and I think that I'm pretty sure that it's been something that the organization has known about for a while. Because if you go back to even in the summer when Mark Bedane left the club, and there was a coach that left the club, and different key people have left the club, so I think that word had gotten out to certain elements within the organization that this stuff was going down and people bailed ship. I'm not calling them rats bailing a ship. I'm just talking about people that could see that there was going to be some bad, negative juju coming out. So they bailed. And, whether it was good for them, bad for them, or whatnot, I agree with the fact that if they didn't want to stick around, then, power to them. But, yeah, this has been something that has been brewing for quite a while. And the Raider Nation as a whole is getting screwed because of the NFL's views and negativity and basic fuck you attitude that they've had for against the Raiders since Al Davis and Pete Rozelle going back to the '60s. So it's been that long.
Yes, it has been that long, and I don't know. I wasn't around to see that. I've read history books about it, read a lot of history about Al Davis. It's what turned me into a Raider fan because it's just, that's a guy that I want to be like. That guy did not care, and no matter what he set his mind to, he was going to get it done, and he wasn't going to have some NFL corporation tell him otherwise. And
Oh yeah.
that comes to this aspect because yes, the NFL does hate Al Davis for what he did because he was the only one to ever be able to do it. Do you think it rolls over to his son?
To a point, it did, and I think that Mark himself is figuring it out that after the passing of the patriarch, aka the great Al Davis, people were thinking, well, how long is this going to be like this? And I know that Mark Davis has played well with his fellow owners
Yes.
for a bit. I mean, he was screwed out of Los Angeles with Jerry Jones. basically giving him the negative knife in the back on that. So the Raiders were screwed out of Los Angeles, but actually I think that was actually a blessing in disguise because yeah, the Raiders still own that market as far as spirit and fans and things like that. So when we go to Los Angeles, it is a home game, and it will always be a home game when you're playing the Chargers, no matter where they are, because their fan base sucks. And the one good thing about it as well is that the Raiders are not second-class citizens in a stadium that Stan Kroenke has. So in that respect, it was a positive thing for the Raiders to go to Vegas and get their own stadium, something that has been needed for, well, let me see, at least since the 80s. Okay, we'll
Right.
go back to the debacle and the decrepit facilities that were in Oakland. And again, I'm just speaking the truth. People say, when you talk about that stadium, and you can't talk bad about it, but no, it was a horrendous facility when compared to all the other facilities, and it's taken that long to have somebody address it. So the Raiders are now in a state-of-the-art stadium in Vegas, not built by taxpayers in and around Oakland that were pissed off about getting screwed when they made the adjustments and the arrangements for Mount Davis when they tried to, or I should say not when they tried, but when they brought the Raiders back for the second stint. And the Oakland taxpayers got screwed. I'll admit that, but it was the politicians in Oakland that gave them and sold them a bill of goods that was horrible. And there was no give and take. The Raiders tried to make amends and make deals with the politicians in and around Oakland and Alameda County, and there was just a bunch of lip service by Mayor Kwan and Libby Schaff and all those people that goes back for years. So the Raiders, bottom line, have a brand new stadium in Vegas, which is awesome. The one thing that is a negative portion of that is because it is Vegas and because it is a destination. Some of that true home field advantage is not going to be had. I mean, we've seen it for a lot of the games this year. We saw a large crowd of Chicago fans out there. We saw a large crowd of Philadelphia fans.
Right.
And to a lesser extent, we saw a decent crowd of even Ravens and Dolphins fans. So the true home field advantage that was Oakland, that to a point was Los Angeles, is not going to be in Vegas. But hopefully, when people get into the spirit of the team, there will be more home field fans trying to buy those tickets that are available, and we'll see within the next couple of years. Hopefully, that will happen.
So we do understand, though, that Mark Davis had to play nice with the NFL in order to get all these new amenities that the Raiders so well deserved, that Al tried so hard for years to get for this team.
Yes, and he did his part in playing nice with the owners and with the commissioner, who is a piece of shit in my mind. I'm glad this is a uncensored broadcast.
Yeah, it's definitely non-censored because that dude is a big ass pussy, and even with the email states, come on, we all know we snickered at the first email. I mean, maybe not the Michelin lip part, but we definitely laughed about Roger Goodell being a non-football pussy.
Yeah, and he is. He is.
He
I mean,
is.
he's a corporate fuck, and Pete Rozelle, who's a lawyer, begat Paul Tagliabue, who is his own corporate lawyer bullshit, and Tagliabue begat Goodell, and Goodell is just a stiff tie wearing piece of fuck shit bitch that he is, and that's just the way it is, and so he is what he is, and Mark is seeing it, that despite all of the fact of playing nice with the NFL, the NFL is still going to be out to fuck the Raiders as long as there is a Davis in ownership of that team.
Exactly, and that was going to be my next question: is when is Mark going to figure out that regardless on how much he does, how much he buckles, that they are not his friends? They're
Oh,
not.
he's figured it out. He's figured it out. He did as much when his statement when people were talking about the issue itself. There's 650,000 fucking emails that was part of the Washington football team investigation. And you're trying to tell me out of 650,000 fucking emails that the only things that were nasty or were of note were two to three. I'm not sure the exact number, but a
Five.
minuscule amount of emails. Okay, five
Five.
that deal with Jon Gruden when he wasn't even a member of the Raiders franchise. He was actually working for ESPN, talking shit with his bra, Bruce Allen, who he had his ties with, with the Raiders when he was GM with John with the Raiders. And
Right.
this was bro talk. I mean, granted, what was stated was wrong. I mean, John's views are wrong in today's world when you magnify it by today's standards, and yeah, he said some shit about racial and not quite racist, but it's like you can look at it as being racist. We were talking about a slight at Denora Smith. Okay, he did say homophobic remark. He
Yes,
did
he
say
did.
sexist remarks about that there shouldn't be female officials. That was wrong. His homophobic remarks were wrong when it came to Michael Sam. And there are a bunch of other things. Calling Goodell a pussy, hey, that's right on, but that's stuff that you would normally have bro to bro talk and locker room talk. And it was with a confidant. And because of that, talking bro to bro, you have Bruce Allen saying, hey, hey, by the way, look at the tits on this bitch, when he's sending, emails with,
Right.
the cheerleader photos. And again, for the ladies that are out there, I am paraphrasing what was stated in the emails. I don't I don't elicit, comments like that, but it was
At
bro
all.
talk. It was voice talk. Hey, look at the knobs on this babe. That's
Right.
what it was.
Well, see what a
And
lot.
so it's Bruce Allen being an ass and Jon Gruden being an ass, and it came out. Now, is it wrong? Sure. Is it sexist? Yes. Is it racist? Damn right. Is it homophobic? For sure. But the point is, it's stuff that really never should have seen the light of day. And these are 5 emails out of, let's say that again, folks, 650,000 emails of all walks of life in the NFL with Dan Snyder and his team. And you're not telling me that Dan Snyder didn't have communication with Jerry Jones or Robert Kraft or anybody else who is wielding a bunch of money? He didn't have any of that going on at all. And they find 5 fucking emails that deal with Jon Gruden. Again, not when he was with the coach of the Raiders, by the way, but when he was working for ESPN. But that's the point. Jon Gruden was made the sacrificial scapegoat of, hey, out of all the time that we've done on this investigation, we found something. We found the rotten culprit of this investigation. And no, it's not Dan Snyder. It's not his sexism. It's not his exploitation of his cheerleaders or some of the other females in his stead. Oh no. Look away. There's nothing going on here. We got Jon Gruden saying homophobic, racist, and sexist remarks, and that's where our investigation found. That's a crock of shit.
Yes, it's very much a crock of shit because anybody with a half a brain can look into this and be like, "Yo, something doesn't seem right, man. This smells kind of fishy." And then on the interview that Mark Davis had when he finally spoke up, when it wasn't, "Oh, the NFL has all the answers. You're going to have to go talk to them." He did say in that interview that he felt like that the Raiders were not targeted, but the timing was off. Since, they had these emails since July and they didn't drop them until what, week 6?
Yeah, it was definitely they wanted to get max value out of fucking the Raiders, and they waited until not quite mid-season, but at least 1/3 of the season being gone.
Well,
You got 6 games into a 17-game season. Let's call it about 1/3 of the season is gone, and then you drop this shit. That is maximum blast radius of how to destroy a club. Maximum.
yeah, well, have fun trying. because with the momentum that we're going right now, I think they awoke a sleeping giant. And I think that
Oh yeah,
this,
no, yeah, and I'm sorry. Their critique is I agree with what they were trying to do, and what actually happened is 180 degrees of what they were attempting to do. Having Gruden, and I said this earlier, having Gruden and that funk, that negative cloud has been elevated out of the locker room. And the team is behind Coach Bisaccia. They
yeah,
are behind Coach Bisaccia. And 100%. He was very well liked, and they are playing their asses off for him. And that's everybody. That's everybody. White, black, gay, straight. I'm going through all of the folks in the locker room. Okay.
yep,
Everybody is behind Coach Bisaccia. And that's just the way it is.
yeah, and they,
And everybody within the organization is as well. The front office has been elevated, and Mark Davis has his eyes opened up and has seen the light of what's going on. So yeah, so we'll see what happens, and hopefully the Raiders will ride that positivity out for the rest of the season. I really think that they will. I mean, no, we're not going to go undefeated for the rest of the season. There's always going to be a bump in the road, but I'm telling you, this team is going to go far. Definitely a lot farther. That they've been having these hiccups when they were 6-3 and 6-4 the other years of Gruden. I don't think they're going to have that. This time they're not going to have that speed bump that fucks them the last portion of the season, which keeps them out of the playoffs.
yeah, I've always been saying, man, ever since this, we saw this team come together, is that this team feels different. They just
Most
feel
definitely.
different, and with this situation happening, it didn't do nothing except for bring this team closer together, who was already close to begin with. So now you take their head coach away. You know this team is playing with fire. They've done shown it the last 2 weeks, providing that we didn't play very good teams the last 2 weeks. The cat's still not out of the bag. I'm not going to be sold on this football team until we have at least 8 or 9 wins, because we already know what this team can do to us if, we put too much faith in them and then they wind up crashing and burning. It's so disappointing. So I'm not going to be sold on it yet, but I love the momentum that they're doing right now. I hope they can keep this momentum and keep that fire up underneath them and win this for the Raiders organization. Win it for Mark, because it's going to feel good if we can get it done to have Roger Goodell have to hand Mark that trophy after
Whether
what.
it's this year, the next year, or I firmly believe that if they continue to be along the path of ascension, that this is a team that is good enough within. And I'm not saying it's going to happen this year. And you'd have to be a total one of those people that that likes purple polka dotted unicorns with wings. Like a unicorn with wings, which would be what, a
A
unipegasus type of
Pegasus.
thing.
Yeah. See,
Yeah.
I
So
want it to happen this year.
unipegasus.
I would love for it
Yeah.
to
Well,
happen this year,
I
but I'm going to
yes,
be
we all would.
optimistic.
Yeah, we all would, but we're all not like Raider Homer, who expects us to be 17-0 prior to the playoffs, and then the other 3 games. So Raider Homer love him to death. Raider Homer is the eternal optimist, and everything is great and dandy, and purple, pink, polka dotted unicorns
Yeah, I love his
and
spunk, dude.
winged horses. Yeah, but we'll see. I mean, the Raiders right now are going in the right direction, and basically, we can thank the fucktards over in the NFL for pulling this shit, because, like the old Admiral Yamamoto said when they attacked Pearl Harbor, he said, "I fear we have done nothing but awaken the sleeping giant."
That's
And
it.
the NFL awakened the sleeping giant that is the Raiders franchise.
So that brings me to my next question, because I know that you're strapped for time here. Uh, these emails, do you think it could be a disgruntled employee in the Washington football team who's leaking these emails, or do you really think that the NFL was the one who orchestrated the hit?
Uh, you know, there are so many different what is it? What do you
Factors.
call it? Well, yeah, there's actors and what are those people that are there's a name for them. These people that have such views. That they're slanted views, but they
Whistleblowers.
There you go. No. Conspiracy theorists. There's so many
Conspiracy
conspiracy theorists.
theorists.
There you go. There's so many conspiracy theorists out there that it could be any number of things. I mean, you look at within the Washington organization, you have to go no further than Jack Del Rio being, their defensive coordinator, and who was the last coach before Gruden. I mean, there's one conspiracy theory. You have any number of people that had these emails that were saying, "Hey, Raj, look at this. Jon Gruden called you I don't know if he called him the F word, homosexual, or the pussy, but
Right.
he definitely called him something." Turned it over to Goodell. Said, "Oh, I'm a pussy. Well, I'm going to show you what this pussy can do," and did it that way. There are so many moving parts. You can't tell me that a custody chain of this email, okay, did have somebody that didn't have it out for the Raiders or just wanted to make a splash. And that's the point. It was somebody that was covering for Goodell in the NFL and said, "Hey, we got something juicy here. Let's use it." And it's all a smoke and mirrors fuck job. It's all smoke and mirrors fuck job that is being done by the NFL, tracing out Gruden and de facto the Raiders organization as a scapegoat. Again, nothing taken away, no condoning what Gruden said. It was wrong. But the point is he was made a scapegoat for this investigation. I firmly believe that. And you can't tell me that Robert Kraft getting a rub and tug down in Florida wasn't talked about. You can't tell me that over all of these years, when they're talking about the Dallas organization, that they're not talking about, all these problems with, cokehead Michael Irvin, and doing his shit, and that wasn't brought about. You can't tell me that there was other things that were brought about. Oh, by the way, we had a situation with, Colin Kaepernick and disrespect towards the national anthem, and nothing was brought about that as well. Bullshit. There's a lot of things that is being swept under the rug.
Yeah.
And it's just so convenient that this is the only thing that was being brought about. I'm sorry, it's a fuck job. That's the way it is.
I think it's a fuck job too, and whether Mark wants to admit it or not, he's just trying to save face to make sure that the NFL doesn't try to fuck him over more than they already have. But
yeah,
in all actuality,
but I think he's one of these days he's gonna. I don't know whether he's hit the fuck you portion. He'll never be like his father, but hopefully he'll get to a point where he said, "Well, fuck it. I've been trying to play nice, and look what it's got me. I might as well, be like the maverick that my old man was. I mean, what's worse that they can do to change my birthday? They can't do anything.
Well, except for
Or
the simple
they can at
fact.
least, see, that's the other thing, though. They can try to make him sell the team, and that might happen. But that's another discussion for another time.
Well, they dropped an article today, and it was about Dan Snyder, and Jon Gruden was talking about it. I saw it in a tweet. I don't know how much there is behind it on whether it really means anything or not, but supposedly Gruden is saying is that the owners are trying to get Dan Snyder to sell the team, and they're doing it behind closed doors, and that by week 8. Let me see if I can find this tweet because I don't even know if it's a credible reference or not.
Are you saying Dan Snyder or Mark Davis? So,
Dan Snyder. So I mean, if they can
Okay.
do it to the Washington football team, what makes them? And I mean, if this goes down, if they can do it to the Washington football team, what makes them think that they can't do? What makes us think that they can't do it to the Raiders, who are basically in debt to the NFL right now?
Yeah. Oh, good point. Yeah, getting rid of Snyder would get rid of one of the blemishes. This report is like Clearasil, getting rid of the acne of the NFL. And if they're trying to get rid of Snyder, who they've been wanting to get rid of for a while, they can do it. If they want to get rid of Davis after that, they can do it. It's just a matter. They will get rid of people that they want to get rid of. They already got rid of Richardson and his club in Carolina for all of his shenanigans and his sexism and things like that, and his racist stuff. People forget that. Jerry Richardson was made to sell his team because of that. They've been wanting to get rid of Dan Snyder. The Davises i.e., Mark. And actually, technically, folks, if you haven't figured it out, Mark Davis does not own the team. His mother does.
Yes.
So, but he is the person with the pulse because Carol Davis is in no condition to run the operation. So she gave that portion to her son. So having any Davis that's in charge of the Raiders is one of those blights that the NFL wishes to remove, and eventually they're going to do it.
Okay, so I did find the tweet, and it says, just saw this rumor by Rich Borges. Just talked to Jon Gruden at MGM. Per him, Dan Snyder is being pressured to sell the team by owners around the league. And then Gruden said Jeff Bezos is nearly a deal to buy the team for $5.8 billion. Snyder should be out by week 8.
Yeah, well, we'll see if that happens.
I mean, if that does happen, I'm expecting the whole roof to be blown off this whole situation. And I kind of figured that Jon Gruden is going to be seeking legal advice.
Yeah, and that's another thing as well. I mean, once this gets blown up, once you start having viable targets and movers and shakers being taken down, yeah, then Gruden will likely get some lawyers and go after the NFL. I mean, I know that there was Gruden had a buyout clause with with Mark Davis, which was supposed to necessitate maybe legal action against the Raiders and the NFL. But I really think that if it comes down to it, he can say, fuck that. I'm going after the boys, and he can do it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he definitely can do it, especially now that he's got 40 million for 3.25 mediocre seasons. I mean, that still hurts regardless, but at least I mean, he's going to be fine anyway. We already know he's going to like some gambling site to make $1 million a year after all this. That was reported. So,
Yeah, and that's where he'll make his income is with because the NFL has opened their ways to legal gambling, and
yes.
that's where he's going to make his money. He's going to be the face of these things because he's not going to coach.
No.
I mean, he's not going to go to the XFL. He's not going to coach. He's not going to do those things. So, he's going to be the face of a gambling product, and that's just the way it is.
Yeah. Well, Captain Jack, man, I appreciate you getting this call in with me, my friend. It's been such a long time since we actually spoke. Last time I saw you was out in Houston, which was what, 2019?
Yeah, 29. Actually, it was just over 2 years ago because I think they just had the anniversary. I saw pictures of me dancing with Raider Nation, the pictures of me doing the butt from what was the name of that group? It was like E.
I have no
Yeah, so yeah,
idea.
great song. Yeah, but the great song, and they had me, doing the butt over in the restaurant. So yeah, that was a little over 2 years ago. Just went through the anniversary.
Well, just in case if the audience doesn't know where to find you, how about you go ahead and let them know where to find you? I do have a backdrop here for your YouTube URL, but where can they find you on social media?
Well, when the fucks from Facebook allow me to actually comment and like, and yeah, you know what? Fuck you, Facebook. Um, I'm sure that I'll probably be in jail for more often than that. You can find me at Captain Jack J Captain Jack Levy on Facebook. You can find me on my profile, or that's my profile. You can find me on my page, which is Captain Jack Rackham, spelled RACK''EM. You can find me at Captain Jack's Raider Galleon, which is one of the groups that I'm in. Obviously, YouTube, Captain Jack Rackham Levy. You can find me on Instagram, which is basically Captain Jack Rackham with delineated or with points in between. Captain.jack.rack.em. That's on Instagram. At least I'm good on Instagram for a little while. Twitter at Captain Jack. I think it's at Captain Jack Rackham. I need to tweet a little bit more often. Trust me, folks. You can find me. I'm on Twitch. I'm on Twitter. I'm on every friggin' thing. I don't do Snapchat because I don't have an OnlyFans page yet, but we'll see about that. You can definitely find me and just go about it, and I would appreciate everybody tuning in and listening to me and listening to others talk of Raiders football and sports. And it's always a great time hanging out with everybody.
Yeah, man, it's always good, man, hanging out with you. You're you're exceptional, and man, I appreciate everything you do. I mean, I'm sure the Raider Nation does too. You are almost at every game representing. I mean, it's awesome because I wish I could do that, but there's no way. I've got a whole life over here that keeps me here all the time. So I just hit the Texas games when I can, you know. But it's envious to see you get out there and the way you get out there. I mean, we all appreciate you, and I definitely appreciate you for coming on the show, my friend.
Oh, for sure. I will do that. And as long as I'm able to go to these games, I will. But, if it comes to such a point where employment or income becomes an issue, folks, I tell you, it's not like I don't want to, because I will always want to be at everything I can. And I will while it's available and while it is a possibility. One of these days is going to come a point where I'm not going to be able to. So please come out and see me when you can, and definitely watch me on all the social platforms that you can, because I enjoy it and it's my way of getting out with everybody.
Yeah, I mean I do it here on the YouTubes. That's how I pretty much reach out to all my friends and all of the Raider Nation. You get a lot of stuff over here from the YouTube. You know what I mean? There's a lot of good content providers, yourself included, content creators that are they they keep me up to date, which is great. I mean, I watch a lot of y'all, and I try to stay away from mainstream media as much as possible because you never really get the true story when it comes to them. I'd rather get
Yeah,
my
there's always an angle. There's always an angle, man. No matter, you get that even in the news. No matter which branch outlet you're going to be watching on a news source, you're going to get a slant, and it's what the company wants you to see, wants you to know. They want to give you their mindset, whether it's right, left, or what I try to find is something that's kind of in the middle. And I definitely am centrist. I don't look for right or left. I look for the truth, and try to do that, folks. You'll be a lot happier if you just figure out what's the real truth.
about to say, yeah, rumors and all that's good fun and games, but the truth is really what I go after. It's much better that way. It helps us understand, especially when it comes to this football team, what the adversity and the endurance that we have to get through this because we are literally against everybody. And it's never
Yeah,
going to
it is.
change.
Yes, it's the Raiders against the world. There's 32 teams in the NFL. It's the Raiders and 31 others. Now that's not, and that used to be the way it was when they were in Oakland and Los Angeles. Maybe it's a little bit more back to there are 32 teams in the NFL where the Raiders are one of them. But I'm going to tell people, while I can and while folks like me can, there's 31 other teams in the Raiders. That's the way I look at it.
Exactly. And there's no better passionate fan base than the Raider Nation.
For sure.
Anyway, Captain, I'm going to go ahead and let you get on out of here, friend. I'm going to go ahead and kick in the outro. And, hey, I'll see you in Dallas.
For sure. We're going to have a ball. Make sure you are out for all the events in Dallas. I know that there is a party before the game, and I will be hosting the party after the game. So check out all the information that are on the website. So, yeah, come out and hang out with my boss for the pre-party. There's also a event, that the Dallas Raider group has with some of their folks. That's also on the Wednesday before the game, and then after the game, I will be hosting a party over at the hotel. So there's at least 3 events: 2 the
That
night before, and then 1 after the game. Come on out and check out and hang out with Raider Nation.
Man, that's so awesome. And I think we got to be one of the, I mean, we can't be the only fan base who does it, but man, we do it in such style. We black out everywhere we go. So
That's true.
it's not like you won't have a good time, Raider Nation, if you show up. So, hey, that's something to consider. Anyway, yeah, let's go ahead and get on out of here, friend.
Good hearing from you there, Paul. Appreciate it.